everyone, this week on the Awesome Vlog, I'm going to talk about the highs, lows, and what the fucks of E3, or as I like to call it, Christmas for Gamers. So out of all the different press conferences that happened at E3, I'm going to focus on the three console manufacturers, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. Overall, Nintendo was the worst. This was their opportunity to get people excited about the Wii U so they'll go out and buy it this October when it comes on sale. I don't think they did it at all. They showed very little third-party developer footage, and that was going to be their big thing with Wii U, is finally bringing in the third-party developers. They showed Batman Arkham City. The game's been out for over a year. I've played it on PlayStation. This is not going to get me to go out and buy the same game I've already played and a new system. Super Mario U. It looks just like, the new Super Mario Brothers that they just recently came out for the Wii. If it had been something more like Super Mario Galaxy that was a little bit different, maybe it would be enough to motivate the Nintendo fanboy in me to go out and actually get it. But looking just like the same thing I've already played and seen, that's not exciting to me. And then of course they announced their Pro Controller. It looks just like the Xbox controller. It's just kind of ridiculous. So the Microsoft press conference for Xbox is number 2 on my list. Probably had one of the best innovations, or actually I would say it was the best innovation for E3, which is the Xbox Smart Glass. Even though it's a horrible name, I'll give credit where credit is due. It's a great idea. Basically what you can do is use your current tablets and smartphones that you already have at home to control the interface of your Xbox. So if you want to browse the web, you can actually use your touchscreen on your phone like a keyboard. So you would be typing on that as opposed to using a controller and trying to go through and select individually each alphabetical letter to browse the web. Anybody who's tried to use a web browser on either the Wii or the PlayStation knows it's just awful. It's unusable. And I think this is a great idea and it's a great concept. And it brings that second screen that everybody is basically doing. Nintendo's going to be doing it, with the Wii U. Sony's doing it by integrating the Vita. Having that second screen is essential to what gaming is going to be in the future. The fact that you can change a play in Madden on a handheld, on your tablet, on your iPad, and it's in the game and you don't have to go through and select it on the screen, is just great. Also, Halo 4, new Gears game, these are things to be excited about. All these things also, they're sequels, but they're all actually prequels now. So I'm surprised they didn't choose to go with different names rather than, calling it Gears 4, Halo 4. Do what Sony's doing. God of War Ascension, break it away from that trilogy and give it a new a new beginning. So I actually felt Sony put on the best press conference out of the three console manufacturers. They focused on gameplay. They didn't talk about sales like Microsoft did. They didn't rehash half the stuff they did last year like Nintendo did. They showed us new games and new gameplay footage, and I thought that was just fantastic. It got me excited about a lot of games that are coming out on PlayStation. The new God of War, Last of Us, Beyond. These games just look amazing. One of the new innovations that Sony did premiere at E3 this year was the Wonderbook, and I drew a picture of it. Wonderbook lets you see augmented reality. Yeah, the Wonderbook. Basically, it's for kids and with use for the Move. It will allow them to read fairy tales and stories and see live action kind of in front of them on the screen. But one of the bigger announcements in regards to the Wonderbook was the partnership with J.K. Rowling. For Harry Potter fans, you can now live the experience of being a student at Hogwarts through the Book of Spells. What it'll allow you to do using the Wonderbook is solve problems or puzzles, and it'll teach you different spells and allow you to practice them on the screen like you were a student at Hogwarts. This may be enough to breathe some life back into the Move, which really has just kind of gone stagnant. So we can't talk about E3 unless we talk about some of the newly announced games from E3. The top ones on my list that I'm excited about are Watch Dogs, Beyond, and Star Wars 1313. Watch Dogs allows you to control an entire cities' infrastructure. You can see data records from people. You can hack cell phones. You can control streetlights. What you're going to do with this power doesn't seem to be clear yet. It looks like you can stop people from, committing crimes, or people who've gotten away with crimes. It'll be interesting to see what the actual storyline is as the game approaches a actual release date. Beyond. This is by Quantic Dream, the same makers of Heavy Rain. The animation and art in this game is just beautiful. It stars actress Ellen Page, who looks amazing in this game, and her character, we're going to go through 15 years of the character's life, and it appears that she's haunted, or there's some sort of invisible entity that is surrounding her, communicating with her, is her. It's kind of unclear. That's going to be part of the mystery of the game, but I loved Heavy Rain. I'm really excited to see what this game is going to be like. Lastly, Star Wars 1313. Star Wars fans and, real geeks know 1313 means Boba Fett. It's from early footage. It looks like it's going to be Uncharted meets Star Wars. The other interesting thing about Star Wars 1313, it's also going to be the very first mature-rated Star Wars game. So some of the other new IPs that are coming out of E3 that I'm really excited about, and they're not newly announced, but they were announced last year, and I think are going to be awesome. The first one is South Park, The Stick of Truth. It looks like you're watching an actual episode of the show. Going around playing as Stan and Kyle and Cartman and everybody, and the fact that you just, thinking about the game, I'm already laughing. The fact that you're going to be able to use Mr. Slave as a weapon, and he's going to suck people into his ass. Maybe Lemmy Winks bites him when they're in there. Assuming the game doesn't have any glitches and it runs smoothly, it's going to be an instant hit, because you're going to be laughing and smiling the entire time. You can't go wrong with a game that just is 100% enjoyable. Next up, The Last of Us. It's by Naughty Dog. I believe it's by Naughty Dog, the same makers of Uncharted. It basically looks like Uncharted with zombies, yet I haven't actually seen any zombie footage, or actually fighting zombie footage. The demo they showed at E3 was you were in a hotel, or it looks like you're in a hotel, and they showed some of the fighting sequences and different kind of opportunities and different things you can do within the game. They showed the main character grabbing an enemy and slamming his head against the side of a desk, blood squirting everywhere. Then they showed another scene where the main character wrestles a shotgun away from one of the enemies and then just blasts his head. It was just unbelievably over the top, like gory, just awesome action sequences. I'm looking forward to it. Lastly, Tomb Raider. Yeah. Tomb Raider's not really a new IP. It's a reboot. I'm going to allow it. It's basically Uncharted, but Uncharted was basically, a modern day version of Tomb Raider. Same idea, include the cinematic sequences. It's an updated version of Tomb Raider in itself. Okay? I like that it's kind of a prequel. It's an origin story for Lara Croft. Her, going on her first adventures. It looks like she gets beat up a lot, which, not necessarily that I like to see, women getting beat up in, games a lot, but some might deserve it. She shoots you with an arrow. I think you're allowed to hit her. But some of the dialogue, they're kind of putting a nice little humor aspect into it from what I can already see. One of the lines that that they've released already, that's an end from one of the trailers, is Lara Croft sits there, she falls into a tomb, and then she goes, "I really hate tombs." Come on, it's Tomb Raider, come on! Well, that's it for this week on the Awesome Vlog, so loosen up those thumbs for all those great games coming out, and remember to stay awesome.